What's more of a logical fallacy than an appeal to authority? Appeal to authority that you falsified by falsifying your authority figure's credentials. Truthers love faked CVs and resumes because there's no way to double check them and you can't critique them. If someone actually tells you where they used to work, you can go get their work history. But anyway, let's see what's going on here. Now, I'm not claiming any person, on screen or off, is actually falsifying anything. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, please provide your CV. Provide your proof. So we'll go on to the next frame. Now, I'm just going to read what's on the screen. You can pause the video and read it with me. The Senior Executive Service, or SES, was founded in 1979, not the 1990s or 1991, and not by Kristen Marcy. Full stop. Kristen Marcy's only reference point anywhere with that name and Senior Executive Services being in any file, except done by somebody uploading it on purpose to be truthy, the only references I find is a single article. This single article only says the following information. If you want to prove this, you have to provide an article at the time that doesn't have George Webb or whatever, Dave Acton or whatever, trying to push some, quite frankly, cock and bull story. Okay? It's a soap opera, guys. That's what you're enjoying. So here we go. As of the date of that thing that was posted, the only thing mentioning Kristen Marcy and Senior Executive Services, she had worked at 10 agencies throughout her government career during 10 years. Now think slowly about that. Okay, now let's move on. Most of her jobs were unusual and challenging, motivating her to stay in public service. I didn't get what people meant by bureaucracy. Who most recently had served as interim president and chief executive officer of the National Academy of Public Administration. Okay. Being flexible, moving around, and seeking out mentors were critical factors in the successful careers of her and another person and the senior level Treasury employee. They all took chances and have become mentors to men and women in federal government, of course. It's easier said than done, especially when combined with the judging act many women with jobs and families have to perform, to get ahead. Perhaps getting more women into the SES comes down to finding the right skills at the right time. Government needs thrifty and organized souls now more than ever. This was in a specific year, by the way. As Marcy puts it, if you're in budget, you can work any place. Marcy helped stand up the Departments of Energy and Education, and was Chief Operating Officer at the Small Business Administration before she retired in 2001 after 10 years and 10 jobs, which puts her in the 1990s, not 1978 when it was founded. Full stop. And was mentioned one time in this 2011 article, 10 years after the fact, and was said at the time to be a charter member of the Senior Executive Service, or SES, after a 10-year career starting in the 1990s at 10 different locations or entities she worked under. Not 1979 or 78, when Congress created the Senior Executive Service, or SES, to provide government-wide a mobile corps of managers within federal agencies and bring a measure of coherence to an otherwise fragmented federal bureaucracy. As a corps of executives selected from career employees or political appointments as desired by the administration for their leadership qualifications, not for any technical expertise. It was established by the Civil Service Reform Act, and there is the statute. Full stop. Now, in the 1980s, Ted Kern, Jerry Shaw, Jim such and such, and Leon Green and Ray Rizzo, this is the only other reference I can find to anybody found or associated, were among the founding 7 of the Senior Executive Association, or SEA, all to discuss the administration's future goals to repair their broken promises which had induced executives to enter the Senior Executive Service. But the administration had no plan to remedy the executive situation, so the senior executives started their own organization to lobby Congress on their own behalf. That was the beginning of the SCA. That is the only other thing anybody brought up with a founding member grouping, and it actually has some people's names in it. She's not listed under them. The founding seven began recruiting as many senior executive service people as they could, a deputy commissioner of IRS, yada yada. Somebody named Shaw took a 6-month leave of absence from the IRS as a full-time president of the SCA, and eventually resigned in order to lead the association, which grew to 600 members in 4 months. A member named in an organization's charter is a charter member. So show this document to prove you are on the charter. Or prove this is at least possible within the reality of time for a founding member for an organization where you started working in it or being associated with it in the 1990s when it was founded just before the 1980s. That's the end of this discussion. You have to show proof or you are lying. And the truther community is fantastically attracted to people who make false claims, because a person who can't prove they had a position of power is always more attractive than someone who does have the ability to prove it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that.